Jin, a recently qualified practicing CA, got his first audit assignment of Ordinary Private Limited for the financial year 23-24. He obtained all the relevant appropriate audit evidence for the items related to the statement of profit and loss. However, while auditing the balance sheet item, CA left failed to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence like confirmation on the outstanding accounts receivable of 250 lakhs, which is continued from the last year. On the affirmation of the management that there is no receipt and further credits during the year. Relying merely on management and affirmation that there were no receipts or further credits during the year, CA Rohan excluded the audit of accounts receivable from his audit program, assuming that the amount pertained to the prior year which has already been audited by the predecessor auditor. Comment on the appropriateness of the CA Rohan's approach. So what has happened here, my dear soldiers, is that we talk about the CA, and so what has happened is that he has not obtained any confirmation on the outstanding accounts receivable of 250 lakhs because there is no credit and receipts, and already management has given a affirmation. They have given an affirmation about the balances, means they have already given a written representation, and it is outstanding from the beginning of the year. It's an outstanding balance at the beginning of the year. How do you deal with this? What is the steps you will take in this actually here? What are the steps which is involved here actually? How do you deal with this? That's the thing here. So now essay 510 initial audit engagement opening balances. While conducting an initial audit engagements, the objective of the auditor with respect to opening balances is to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence about whether the opening balance contain misstatement that materially affect the current period financial statement. That's the thing. So whether the opening balance, do they contain any misstatement which affects the CPF, that is current period financial statement, and an appropriate accounting policy is reflected in the accounting balance which has been consistently applied in the current period financial statement, or the charges are properly accounted for and adequately presented and disclosed with in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. That's the thing here. When the financial statement for the preceding period, that's the thing here. So we're audited by another auditor. The current auditor may be able to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence regarding opening balances by perusing the copies of audited financial statement. The current auditor can place reliance on the closing balances contained in the financial statement for the preceding period, except when during the performance of the audit procedures for the current period, the possibility of misstatement in the opening balances is indicated. The current assets and liabilities, some audit evidence about the opening balances may be obtained as a part of the current period audit procedures. The collection of the opening balances on the accounts receivable. That's the thing here. So this will provide evidence as to the existence of the accounts receivable, the rights and obligation, the completeness and the valuation at the beginning period. So at the beginning period, it will provide all these evidences are being provided. So definitely it is because you have to apply essay 510 to ascertain that whether the opening balances are correctly reflected and is there any material misstatement in the same. As per essay 580 written representation, auditor may consider is it necessary to request the management to provide written representation about specific assertion in the financial statement and to support the understanding of the auditor about the other audit evidence of the which is based on certain management judgment, or as to completeness of a specific assertion. Written representation provide necessary audit evidence, does not provide a sufficient and appropriate audit evidence on that assertion. It is providing any necessary audit evidence. It is not a sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. The management has restrained CA its auditor from obtaining a appropriate evidences for the balances of accounts receivable outstanding for the preceding year. So in such case, the CA, he believes that the preceding year balances have been audited and on the statement that there is no receipts and credits during the current year, therefore excluded from the verification of the accounts receivable from the audit program. So in this case, EAGIN has requested the management to provide a written representation for the views and expressions, and he should also not exclude the audit procedures on the closing balance of the accounts receivable from his audit program. So in such case, the CA is held guilty of professional misconduct because he is not exercising due diligence or he is grossly negligent of conduct of his professional duties as per the code of ethics. So in this case, the CA will be guilty of the professional misconduct. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.